My name is Naoki Tommy. I'm 16 years old and a sophomore in high school. Today, I'm going to talk about the pathetic end of the psycho from my hometown. I'm currently studying at a high school in New York, and I'm living happily every day. My hometown is quite far from New York, and it's a very rural area. I don't mean it is abundant in nature, but I mean it's a town full of groups of hoodlums and gangs. I too used to be a member of a group with quite a bad reputation. At that time, I gave a lot of trouble to my parents and teachers. I used to ride the back of the motorcycle of a high school boy and made merry noises. I also did a lot of mischievous things that almost sent me to jail. In my hometown, when people hear my name, Naoki Tommy, I was known as a delinquent in my own right. Well, it's actually a dark past of mine, something I want to forget or pretend never happened to me. But I've reflected on my dark past and I'm now studying diligently in high school. When I changed and got accepted to a prestigious high school in New York, it became huge local news. My parents cried tears of joy. That was the moment when I really thought that I'm glad I changed for the better. However, turning 16 this year means that the event every girl has been dreaming of all their life is getting closer. Yes, it's my sweet 16. I hesitated for a while when I thought of going back to my hometown where I had a dark past, but I have quite a lot of friends in my hometown, so I decided to celebrate it there so I can also meet them after a long time of being apart. Then, I went home a week before my birthday and thought of taking some leisurely time to enjoy and reminisce fond memories I had in my hometown before my sweet 16 parties, but days before my 16th birthday, I received a message from a person I haven't been in contact with for quite a while.
Hey, it's been quite a while since we last saw each other.
Right, it really has been quite a while. Has it been since graduation? How have you been doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm currently working at an automobile company.
Is that so?
You're studying at a high school in New York, right?
Right, well...
You used to be so different when you were my woman.
Well, I don't think it's necessary to bring up the past. By the way, what do you want?
You're back in town, right?
Yeah, how did you know?
I heard from Yoshida. He told me about you being back in town. So how about we go out to eat?
Sorry, I've not been feeling well since this morning, so maybe next time.
What? You're so unsympathetic.
His name is Masaru. As you probably already guessed from our conversation, he's my ex-boyfriend. Our relationship was when we were in middle school. We were quite immature. Just like I mentioned earlier, I used to hang out with a bad group of people when I was in middle school. Masaru was the leader of that group. I know it's a path that every girl goes through, but being the leader of a delinquent group is very popular among adolescent girls. That's why I was proud that I was his woman, but just as he's the leader of a delinquent group, men are creatures who get carried away with their titles. Having 2 or 3 girlfriends was not unusual for him back then. He often became violent in fights and other situations. Honestly, I'm more ashamed of dating a man like him than the fact that I used to be a delinquent. Some decent men were better than him. I learned this after Masaru and I broke up, but he's a good-for-nothing man who gropes women. Bad publicity about him seemed to be spread all over the town. It's hard for me to imagine that his fundamental character will change just because he has grown up. That's why I feigned being sick and turned him down. Then that night, I decided to eat out with my friends from my hometown. There are no fancy stores in a country town, so we went to a local restaurant where we used to hang out at.
Whoa, you're so fashionable now! I guess people really do get refined when they go to New York. I'm so jealous.
No, that's not true. You've all grown up now and look so mature. We talked about our current situations to catch up on each other and reminisced about the good old days. It felt great seeing them after a long time and we had a lot of fun.
Huh? Ah, now you're here.
What a surprise! I ran into my ex-boyfriend. Well, come to think of it, we don't have many options to go out for a bite in this town, but I guess I should have thought carefully about where to go. This is why I don't like living in a small town.
Hey, didn't you mention that you're not feeling well?
Yes, I did, but I felt better after taking a nap, so it's a very painful excuse for me to say. I can tell from the expression on his face that he's definitely mad. It's been a long time since we last saw each other. He's wearing baggy pants and a tacky necklace with sparse blonde hair. He really hasn't changed at all since our delinquent days. The friends he came with were like him too. Based on my observation of his appearance, I don't think he has grown up at all.
Hey, Masaru, what are you doing? Let's go. Huh?
I was with my friends and he was with his son. It went off without a hitch for that time being, but I know Masaru so well that I was certain that he will not back down without a fight.
Hey, you're already home, right? Come out and let's hang out for a while.
At this late hour? All the shops are closed now in this town, right?
Remember that night view we went to when we were together? I thought it would be nice to go there with you after a while of not seeing each other. You're fine with that, right?
Of course I'm not fine with that. I don't have my motorcycle nor car with me in this town.
You can ride in the back of my motorcycle. You're fine with that, right? It's been a while since we last did something exciting like that anyway.
Listen, could you please just stop doing this?
Huh? What do you mean?
I don't mean to nitpick about the old days, but I consider dating you the biggest shame of my life. That's why, frankly, I don't want to be involved with you anymore.
Are you seriously saying that?
I know that you just want to take a shot at me this time, on the pretext of a long-awaited reunion. Sorry, but you'll have to find someone else. Just like that, I firmly told him that I didn't want to do that with him. Well, I did sense that the moment he contacted me, that was his only objective in mind. Being able to sleep with an ex-girlfriend who came back from New York will probably give him some kind of status in this town. I'm not sure about that either. Anyway, thinking that things were settled for that moment, I relaxed in my bedroom. That's when he...
Hey! Now! Come outside! You've got to be kidding me! How could you mock me like that? I won't let you disrespect and look down on me!
He's shouting angrily outside in the middle of the night. He really hasn't grown and matured at all. He probably thinks that if he threatens me with pressure, I'll eventually listen to what he'll say. But I've never been scared of Masaru, not even once. In fact, now that we haven't seen each other in a while, I just think he's like a child throwing a tantrum. Of course, I didn't have to deal with his behavior. I opened my bedroom windows and holding my phone, I shouted at the top of my lungs, "Go away, or else I'll call the police immediately!"
Huh? If you're so confident about that, then do it, you bluffing bastard!
Even after telling him that, he still begged and pleaded, so I considered calling him. Just when I was about to dial his number.
Remember what you did to me this day. I won't let you get away with this!
He said, like a line in a dramatic scene of a movie, and grudgingly walked away. Honestly, with all that happening, I felt so stressed out and depressed about my sweet 16. That's because my stupid ex-boyfriend who stopped growing up in middle school is coming to the party. However, there will be a lot of guests that day and security will be reasonably tight. I thought he wouldn't do anything reckless, so I got myself together and decided to prepare for my sweet 16 debut. My parents prepared a very pretty dress for me. They've been looking forward to seeing me in that dress on my big day. How were you able to afford this very pretty, expensive-looking dress? It's a surprise. I'll tell you later. Your father and I prepared this dress, especially for this day.
We were hopeless for a moment when we learned that you were hanging out with delinquents in the neighborhood. But now, I feel like I'm about to cry tears of joy.
Mom, Dad, please stop crying. Then, 2 days before my sweet 16 celebrations, I brought my dress to a certain shop. I know, welcome. Wow, you look so grown up now. How have you been? Hello, Mrs. Asako. I'm doing great. This is Mrs. Asako. She's friends with my mother and she owns a small beauty parlor in my hometown. I don't remember it, but my mother told me that there was a time when Mrs. Asako came to her house when I was young. This is the dress. Please take care of it. Wow, what a beautiful dress. I will take care of this responsibly. On the day of my sweet 16 celebrations, she will help me out with tie dress, including my hair and makeup as well. So I asked to have my dress checked and brought it to her in advance. However, several hours later...
Hey, you left your dress to be taken care of at a shop called Asako, right?
How did you know that? Are you stalking me or something?
No, it's not like that, stupid. Asako is my mother, meaning that beauty salon is my house.
What? Really? I didn't know that. And then, so what?
Your dress looks nice and expensive.
It's none of your business.
Since it's already here, I'll make it more fashionable for you. You used to wear ripped jeans a lot before, right?
I'm warning you, so don't do anything weird with that dress.
Ooh, so scary. You made fun of me the other night, so I'm sure you already braved yourself for this.
You'll regret it if you do that. I can't believe that Mrs. Asako's house is my ex-boyfriend's house. It was careless of me not to notice. I'm so disgusted by the community of this small town. In a small town like here, there's a high probability that such an unexpected thing will happen. So I ran as fast as I could to Mrs. Asako's house. I told her the situation and we went to the room where the dress was kept, but we were too late. Oh no! Oh my gosh, it's ripped to shreds! Shockingly, the beautiful dress I was supposed to wear in my sweet 16 was ripped to shred with something sharp. It will absolutely be impossible to repair since it's ripped to this extent. I apologize for the actions of my stupid son. I'm truly sorry. I will definitely reimburse it. I'm truly sorry. Mrs. Asako cried while apologizing. but I can't blame her for what happened. It wasn't her fault anyway. Unbelievable. No matter how much of a delinquent her son is, no one would have thought that her adult son would do such a thing. Thankfully, my grandmother's dress that she wore in her Sweet 16 debut was carefully kept at home, so I decided to wear that instead. It's not as stunning as the previous dress that I was supposed to wear, but I have no other choice. And then, because of what happened, I had to report the matter to someone. I didn't want to cause any trouble, but this is what needs to be done right now. Although it's somewhat daunting, I decided to make a call at the moment. Hello? This is Now. Actually, I can't wear the dress anymore. Yes, actually, I have an ex-boyfriend, I explained the details of what happened. Now, I need to give a proper beating to that insane ex-boyfriend. Then, the day of my Sweet 16 debut arrived, just when we were all gathered in front of the venue, chatting and taking pictures.
Hey, Now! You didn't wear the dress I made fashionable, especially for you. Want me to do the same to that dress you're wearing right now?
He said, smirking and getting me involved. However, I sighed and replied to him, the dress you shred to pieces was actually not mine.
What? Are you going to say it's your grandma's or something?
My grandma's dress is what I'm wearing right now. The dress you ruined is actually one that I borrowed from my uncle.
So what if it's your uncle's?
Well, I just thought it was unfortunate for you. Then, a man called Masaru's name from behind.
Is it you? Are you the one who ripped my dress to shreds?
This is my uncle, Yoshihito. He has a characteristic large body, sharp eyes, and a very stern-looking face. He's not just stern-looking, though. He really is stern.
You've got some balls, kid, to mess with the Yamaoka clan's belongings. Come with me. We'll go for a short drive.
Right. My uncle's the head of a well-known local outlaw clan. He lives in a world without honor or humanity. The reason why my parents worried a lot about me when I became a delinquent had something to do with my uncle's influence. He's a feared man in the industry, but he has adored me since I was a little girl. I remember him telling me,
if you find yourself in any sort of trouble in the future, just come to the clan anytime.
It's white nostalgia thinking about it now, but my parents cried, saying,
Please, don't do that! I beg you!
I went off topic for a moment there, but that uncle who spoiled me generously offered the most expensive dress from his wife's wardrobe. That dress was tailor-made, especially for my aunt, and it was worth $50,000. My aunt used to tell me, the value of this dress shows how wealthy a clan is. It's the kind of dress that can only be worn by an unmarried woman. But for my big day, my husband bought the most exquisite dress for me. I remember her bragging about her dress. That's why when my mother asked my aunt to borrow that dress so I can wear it on my Sweet 16 debut, I was very surprised and happy at the same time. What Masaru did was almost like straining the reputation of the clan. As for the situation, the amount of money for the dress doesn't seem to matter that much.
I'm very sorry. I didn't know. I will definitely reimburse, so please.
Finally realizing the extent of his wrong act, Masaru fell apart and was on his knees crying. However,
the police and gangs are not necessary if all you had to do is say sorry, fella. Calm down. Don't worry. I won't kill you. Probably.
Just like that, my uncle's subordinates forcibly took him and shoved him into the car. As for Masaru's parents, the color drained from their faces when they heard how much the dress cost. They cried and cried and they said they will somehow work out the payment, but my uncle grinned and said,
Don't worry about that. Your son is already an adult. At that age, he needs to own his actions and not ask his parents to clean after him. I'll leave him in the care of someone I know and make sure that he earns the $50,000 he owes me. That's why I do feel bad for you as his parents, but I'm gonna have to ask you to leave your son's care to us. What do you think about that?
Of course, Masaru's parents accepted my uncle's offer. You might think that we failed as parents to leave the disciplining of our child to someone else, but please correct my son's rotten nature.
For sure. He's been a constant source of trouble around here, so I knew I had to do something with him one day. You've actually saved us a lot of trouble as well.
Just like that, Masaru's parents didn't retaliate. As for me, I felt relieved too. A year after that, I went to visit home again. My parents told me not to force myself if I'm busy, but I'm pretty sure it's because there was that much trouble last year. There's probably no way for them to not care about anything else after that. Uncle, Happy New Year!
Ah, now it's you! Happy New Year! You look more and more beautiful every time you come back.
It's only been a year since I last came home. More importantly,
Ah, about that bastard named Masaru or something, right? I know you're kind, so I expect you would worry about him.
He said and led me to his mansion. Then he started telling me everything.
First of all, he's not here in the US.
What?
That bastard. He tried to escape several times at the workplace where I first assigned him. He tried to cause trouble by using the network of delinquents that he has.
I can't believe he tried to disobey you. He really is a complete idiot.
Well, he ends up failing every time and gets beaten up by my subordinates, though. I thought he wouldn't be able to work properly in that case. So I sent him overseas to do boring work.
My uncle used to say, there are things that people are allowed to know and things that they're better off not knowing. If he says it's work that he can't tell me, I shouldn't ask him any further. But I'm sure that the situation is far worse than I could have imagined.
And second, there's no way that he won't be paying off the $50,000 he owes me.
Meaning?
That's on top of the damage and interest, so to speak. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why he tried to escape, though. He has a total of $1 million in debt.
$1 million? Not able to withhold my surprise, I said it out loud. Because I didn't understand at all how a $50,000 debt inflates to $1 million. However, my uncle kept his cool and continued talking. Offending someone from the hidden world means one has to play by the rules of the hidden world. The law does not apply to the hidden world. That bastard not only shredded to pieces the best dress of my beloved wife, but even turned violent against my precious niece. I'd say $1 million is on the cheap side. Well, I guess you're right, Uncle. That idiot has been a delinquent in this town for years. This means that there's no way he didn't know what my uncle was capable of doing. Well, I'm sure it was a shocking surprise for him when he found out that the man is my uncle. It was probably beyond his wildest imagination, though. If he continued to do whatever he wanted in that town, I'm sure he would have clashed with my uncle at some point, even without my dress fiasco. This outcome is completely self-inflicted, brought on by that idiot. I don't care at all about what happens to him. Oh, hi Nell, welcome. Auntie, Happy New Year. I'm truly sorry for what happened last year. You don't worry about that anymore. It's not your fault anyway. More importantly, look at this new dress that I got. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Yes, it's beautiful. It looks great on you.
It looks way better on you than the other dress. Yes. I can proudly say that my wife is the best in the world.
Just like that, the New Year's greetings ended in a friendly atmosphere. All I ever seen is my uncle's kind side. I think he's kind of people who make proper sense. That's because there are a lot of times that he sends someone from his clan to resolve local disputes. Of course, there's a scary side to him too, but he has been actively involved in community activities such as picking up trash and patrolling for suspicious people. So I've never heard of him being shunned by the people from that town. In other words, he's some sort of dark hero. By the way, based on what I heard from one of my friends in my hometown, rumors about Masaru spread quickly and the delinquents who used to hang out with him became all quiet altogether.
I feel relieved even just by hearing that.
I hope they would take this as an opportunity to stop being idiots and do something better with their lives.